Hi guys, get started. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Let's see folks that showing up here. Okay. Okay. So let's start first with journal clubs. Um, so thanks again to Ben Shee. You have been organizing a pipeline of journal clubs. The last one was pretty successful on the 13th of November. It is archived for folks who want to see, and I'll bring it up now. And it was on talking with the group from carboncopies.org about a roadmap for emulating the human brain. And I thought this was a great session. I was personally pleased that a lot of the roadmap was pretty well grounded in science. I think that uh, you know, I think that of course the challenge is that it's so hard, and I think that the presentation sort of outlined just how hard it is and how much more work there is on that side. But I thought it was instructive in any way when folks asked the question like, "Oh, what do you think we get to the human brain?" I think it was interesting. As some folks said, I think there were many questions answered, but only two more questions. Did feel like it was a little short, so we're going to try to make the next one a bit longer. But uh, I thought it was interesting anyway. Using a discussion tool we did then. So that was there. Um, so we have another one coming up that we just advertised last yesterday, I think, the day before. And so now we're going back to actual worm stuff, and so just wanted to plug this as well. Thanks again to Ben for organizing. So we're going to revisit with this one the topic of the worm itself. And so we are, first of all, pointing to the previous journal club that we had with Netta Cohen, looking at what we don't understand from a biological perspective about basically worms crawling and some of the theories that were there. And we've actually had another contributor in this past week named Keith Harris write up a blog post that reviewed that journal club. And so if you don't want to watch the full hour and a half, you can read this less than 3,000 word blog post just to kind of give a sense of what the big questions were that are on there. So thanks very much to Keith for contributing that. And we're going to hope he's going to continue some writing on this kind of topic. So this paper we're going to talk with Eduardo Izquierdo and Randall Beer, and I will be putting together the presentation this time. So I'm basically doing a review of what I think we should have done, a while ago in the project. It's been a bit of time since we haven't really reviewed the latest in modeling, and so their work really picks up on work from Netta Cohen, previous work from Sean Lockery. It sort of has this approach of building a minimal network circuit and optimizing it. And I think it's a really good jumping off point for a lot of the things that we're doing here in OpenWorm. So I'm actually really looking forward to it. I think that we'll be able to see some really interesting connection points, some ways in which they've been able to, by radically simplifying, making simplifying assumptions, put out some good results. I think also ways to potentially work together could come through at this journal club. So so that's not this Friday, but next Friday. So look forward to that one, and should be a good discussion. And we're making it longer so that so the conversation continues a bit longer, so we can maybe see what good intersection points we can get. Okay, so that's plugging the journal clubs. On integration, so last time we talked about integration, and we had discussion about intersection points. I just wanted to flag that since last time, we have gotten a sort of OpenWorm branded Docker instance, and we've managed to have Jamie Morey actually be able to push as well. So to update it, so we now have the ability to actually collaborate on a Docker instance. So if you haven't had a chance to pull the original one, you can now try pulling this one and playing around with it and seeing how it works. There have been several contributors, new volunteer contributors who have come into the project. I've been pointing at this, and so I believe that they've been able to pull it as well. So slowly but surely, we're getting some activity built up around this. Yeah, check it out for yourself and see what you think. Let me know. And if folks have tried it out, let me know today. Okay, other than that, in the last month, I've been reviving some Sunday morning, well, my morning, Sunday evening for other folks, Sunday morning Pacific time hack sessions on OpenWorm, just in the OpenWorm Gitter channel. So you can, as always, you can check out the archives of what's been going on there at this OpenWorm channel. I've been trying to just point at what the latest issues are and getting different folks to sort of focus on what's going on there. So feel free to join in the conversation asynchronously if you like, or check in as well on Sunday. I'll just go ahead and link that on the OpenWorm Gitter channel. And lastly, I don't think Matteo will be able to join us today, but he wanted to send in his regards and send in this presentation that he's just been giving on OpenWorm just today, I believe. I don't have a ton of details on it, but that's linked in here in the minutes as well, and he's just kind of giving an overview about OpenWorm.
Well, okay. Symposium here in Oxford.
There you go, some symposium in Oxford. Great. Alrighty, so that is all for me for the moment until I remember something else. Looks like we've got a small group today, so today's meeting may be fast. I don't know, but so let's see. Porg, I know you said you were going to be in the background. Do you want to update first, or do you want to update last, or are you not able to update?
I can give a very quick update. It's probably not much different from last time. Well, basically, what I've been working on is a lot of stuff around open source brain, some of the tools, OpenWorm, a lot of tools which will generally have some applicability to OpenWorm, but not directly working on, for example, the C302 project. For the time being, there has been a bit of work in some of the tools for optimization of cell models, but I've been looking at some of the other models on open source brain. But when I finally get time to come back to OpenWorm, hopefully I'll have time to update some of those tools. I've checked and C302 is still working, but it does need a bit of work to just really, well, to make sure that the latest tools for optimizing models work well with C302. I think there were some questions in some of the issues and so on about linking C302 and OpenWorm. Excuse me. I replied to some of those, and I think the main issue at the moment is to make sure that the updated connectome information that's being used in OpenWorm is as documented as possible before it's replaced in C302. I think that's important, just to make sure that we know what's going in there, rather than replacing one spreadsheet with another spreadsheet that we don't know, or that isn't as documented as it might be. So.
Yep. That's fair. Okay. Good. Giovanni, do you want to present some work?
Yeah. So update on the worm sim. So now all the accounts are released. They have been for a month now, really, and so people have been using it. One interesting point, something that I want to show now. I'm not sure everybody is in it, so I'm sharing my screen. In the last release, before we sent out all the remaining accounts, we added, in particular, some bug fixing, but in particular, simulation of view. I mean, it's a simulation, but in the worm sim itself, it doesn't simulate automatically. It just lets people explore the connectome. But anyway, you can see that there's a widget up here with the neuron name of the selected neuron, and it tells you the scientific name, and it tells you the adopted name. That particular one was adopted by Will Wheaton. And so if you click other ones, you see the people who adopted it, if they are adopted. For example, this one and this one. This one Jesus adopted. So yeah, this is nice, and this is like fair dues to Roderick, because he's the one who originally came out with this idea of letting people adopt neurons, and it's a nice thing to have in there. And actually, we got a good few emails of people saying that they wanted to adopt neurons, and we are currently responding to those queries.
Hey, Joe? Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I'm not the only one. Yeah, so we kind of have a blank. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's finally popped up. Took a while for the. Well,
You could hear me at least?
I can hear you, yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm not really seeing the screen. It's kind of coming up as in the thumbnail, but not the main one. No. Okay, there, finally. Now I can see it. Or can you see it?
I can see it, but it's not moving.
Okay. Okay, yeah. If you can point again. Okay.
Yeah, moving slowly.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi, Andre.
Hello.
Yeah, it's just moving very
Can
slowly.
you guys hear me? If so,
Yeah.
I can
Yes.
keep talking. It's not like I'm showing much. I'm just showing this thing up here. So yeah, so that it was just to show what was added. And as I said, some people emailed us because you can see that when the neuron is not adopted, it tells you, you want to adopt this? Send us an email. So some people have actually queried about that. So that makes me feel that it was a nice touch.
So how many neurons are still unadopted?
Most of them are not. Although I think we have 70-something neurons that are adopted. So the difference is 302 minus 70. So we have like whatever that number is, around 230 or so. I remember looking it up. I don't remember the exact number, but we still have a lot of open ones. I mean, all the cool ones are kind of taken, like this or that. The photosensitive stuff, and there's a lot in the tail as well. There's a lot of taken ones, strangely enough. But I'm navigating down to the tail and trying to put stuff. There's a free one as well. But yeah, seems to have caught people with everything. Anyway, that's part of my update. The other update is just stop sharing my screen there. After I kind of stopped after we deployed this and sent out all the accounts a month ago, then I started focusing more on working on Geppetto itself, and currently there's a major refactoring going on that has to do with introducing a type system into Geppetto. I'm trying to stop sharing, but this thing isn't. Okay. It's glitchy today. But anyway, so in the last couple of weeks, really, I've been kind of hands-on involved into doing stuff for Geppetto, and in particular, I did pretty.
Are you breaking up?
Yeah.
Brackets.
Breaking up a bit, Joe. I think his internet connection is not happy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my program. Let me kill my video. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that helps.
I just killed my video.
Helps a little.
Hello?
Yep. Keep
Oh
going.
yeah, very much. I'm working on the petro and on at the heart of the platform. And there's not much to show, but it will performance levels. That's pretty much it.
No, I think you just.
Okay, I think what we got out was that he's continuing to work on Geppetto stuff. Yeah. So, yes. Okay, good. Sorry for the poor connection. But that's cool about the adopted neuron stuff. And yeah, and that's exciting as well that we're fully rolled out to all the Kickstarter backers. So that's really great. Alrighty, good. So let's move on from there. Andre, I know that you got some cool pictures, at least that I've seen while we've been paper writing. I don't know if you want to share those. Some nice new things if you want to explain what's
Okay. Okay. Well, guys, it's a long history. When we were writing the paper describing the construction of worm body, we suddenly discovered that our worm model is too short. It's about 0.7 millimeters instead of 1.0. So I started to improve it. And when it was so I just decided to make it longer, but didn't pay enough attention to diameter. I just kept it as it was because it seemed okay. But well, when this new worm body was ready, I discovered that I started to tune the parameters, especially elasticity and pressure of liquid, and found that our previous version of the worm was just a bit flat in vertical direction because of gravity, and that's why it looked quite wider than its real width if it has a circle in a cross section. So this new worm is looked quite interesting. A few more variants when it contracts muscles. This one. But well, actually, what was necessary to do to improve the situation with width and length was to change the scale of the previous model, because the relation indeed was okay between width and length. So when I have done it, everything became correct, but yes, I needed to change the parameters quite significantly. About the elasticity coefficient was necessary to be multiplied by at least 2.5, a factor of 2.5, and internal pressure. It was necessary to make it higher as well, because the mass of the worm changed from, well, let's say 0.8 to 2.3 in some units, because there are too many zeros. I mean, like something 0.6 multiplied by 10 in degree minus 8 kilograms, something like this. So the mass increased when we increased the scale, and we had to recalculate everything related to biomechanics. So now it crawls again over some surface, and we can start, well, experiments with behavior when we will combine a warm body model and model of neural networks which are responsible for generating muscle driving signals. Maybe a bit more pictures. Well, this one above is a photograph, and this the first one green here is how the current new model is related to this photograph. It's about the difference between the wide profile along the length of the worm differs only about 2 or 3%, not more. Okay, what is already here? Well, the picture here is the old variant of muscle mapping, and below is the new variant, which I was trying on that long and thin worm, but you can use it, I think, in future because it is more adequate. And as we see, these vertical black lines are not completely vertical, because if it was, they were identical. So that's it. This picture shows the real wide profile on that worm photograph, the red line. Next, the blue line is what we can get from this worm body from OpenWorm browser, and the orange line, not this but that, orange or green, I mean this, is what we currently have in our newest model. That's it. Okay, this is not very important, but I will also mention it. There is, let's say, some amount of this circle in each of its 4 quadrants, which should be occupied by muscles, as you can see here in this model. In our model, there is too much space which is not occupied by muscles, and I think we can add 1 or even 2 rows of particles, which will also improve the precision. I think it's understandable. The more similarity between model and real worm. Okay. Also, there is some interesting measurements related to one important parameter, with which we faced when we started to measure the characteristics which describe the crawling worm. So one of them is the wavelength, which describes or characterizes the sinusoidal signal, which sinusoidal form which C. elegans uses when it crawls. So this yellow line is wavelength, and we have found information in some papers that it is like 0.66 or even 0.80, and when we measured this value, it was 0.48. Well, quite different, but we have found that there are different worms, even in case of crawling at agar surface. So there is some individual characteristics in quite wide interval. So I think our variant fits it quite well. And we just need to take into account that if in some paper authors write that the worm wavelength is 0.86 or 88 plus minus 0.02, it doesn't mean that it always works. Other worms in other laboratory on the same agar crawls with sometimes significantly other parameters, which may differ by 40% or something like this. So that's some new facts about our work, about simulations, about progress in worm crawling. Maybe after 2 or 3 minutes later I can show a short video about crawling worm. But I think before, in the previous general meeting, I always already showed something like this. Is that right?
Kind of.
So maybe it will be just a bit better, if it is interesting.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, then I'm complete, and when I will show this demonstration, you will see at my screen.
Oh, hey, Andre, since Sergey is not here, do you want to say something about the memory leak?
Yes. Well, memory leak was discovered when we were running long simulations, which produced 2 or 3 seconds of worm crawling. It's about many thousand of frames of simulation. So we have found that at every machine on CPU or GPU, in both cases, the application crashes after about 600,000 steps. And finally, we found that just grows, its memory grows until it occupies all the memory of the computer. And finally, Sergey found the problem, the piece of code which is responsible for this leak. It was that Python code which was responsible for generating a sinusoidal signal in Python source code, and it was sending it to C++ and OpenCL code via some construction. So this one was responsible for this leak completely. Sergey fixed it, and after that, well, I will say how much size currently cybernetic takes. Something about 230 megabytes. It is stable, it doesn't change. It is the big sin with the crawling worm, which is running right now. And memory leak was increasing this number, this 200 megabytes, up to 2 gigabytes in memory and even larger. So that was important. The new improved source code is already in GitHub. And by the way, guys, I'm sorry, I cannot show the demonstration because right now I'm having a calculation, long run, and I don't want to interrupt it to get it complete. Because I cannot run at once 2 copies of Cybernetic. One is calculating and another one is visualizing.
Okay, Andre?
Yes?
Have the changes you've made to the size and so on of the worm been integrated into the main GitHub repository?
Sorry, can you please repeat the last few words?
I was just wondering, the first lot of changes you showed about changing the size and shape of the worm, have those been incorporated into the main GitHub repository? I mean, are they universal?
There is a branch called crawling. Maybe. I hope so. It has... I'm not sure. Maybe there are changes which fix the memory leak already there. And I'm not sure right now about the new correct new size worm which crawls, because I finished it yesterday. I think I will upload it very soon, but right now they are not in GitHub yet. I will write you a letter if you are interested in this to inform you.
Yeah, it would be it'd be nice to just try out the latest version when you're happy with it and it's stable.
Cool. Okay. So that's exciting. Keeping the memory at one place means one size and not expanding into for longer runs, which is great. And that one is committed for sure. I just saw issue 87. Okay, cool. So last but not least, we have Michael and movement validation. Michael, are you there?
I am. Hello, guys.
Hello.
So it's my job to give an update on behalf of Jim and some of the other guys working on movement validation. The big development, and I can't remember if I gave much of an update on this at the last meeting in early November, I guess. But Andre Brown and Rex Kerr have put together a specification for the worm position data that could be used by labs everywhere. And Rex Kerr has written a parser in Julia and Scala, I believe. And Andre's idea was, hey, Michael, you should go write one in Python. So I've been working on that in my time this month, and it's pretty close to being done. And at that point, I'll try to subclass the generic parser class that I've been writing, and make it apply to some of the specialized or special data that we are using in our particular parser. That is, of course, support the Schaefer Lab parser. So the idea is this tracker format can handle the formats of any particular lab's eccentric formats or feature data. So we'll kind of treat our case as a special case of the more general parser. Meanwhile, Jim has been forging ahead, getting the features consolidated into this new format that he's come up with, and in particular, getting that code working with our statistics code. So it's still a refactoring job there, and that's about it. That's what we're working on.
Cool. Did that tracker stuff, has that made it into the Tracker Commons repo yet, or?
Yeah, it's right now the work that I'm doing on the Python stuff is in a branch on that repo. Yeah, but I've been checking code in regularly. Yeah, to the remote branch or to the remote repository.
Cool. Very cool. Great. Yeah, I'm just thinking about how our journal club next Friday, we'll look at, it looks at metrics for how well the worm is doing clinotaxis, so orientation towards salt gradients and things like that. And so the whole movement analysis thing will be interesting. Basically, all parts of the project have some, I think, interesting connections to the work that Izquierdo has done. So it'll be interesting for anybody who wants to join to jump in and be able to ask questions about all that. So I think, Michael, you're signed up to be a panelist, yeah?
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting just in relation to the work that I've been doing right now with this parser code for the Tracker Commons format that we've come up with. If these chemotaxis, as you say, could be incorporated easily into that format, because the idea is you should be able to create a lab-specific tag and then add the lab-specific data. So if we have a bunch of worm movement data that's alongside a bunch of information about chemical gradients or something like that's been applied to cause the behavior, then that can be stored alongside it in one file there. So anyway, that might be a question I'll have for them.
Cool. Very good. Okay. Well, thank you for the updates. And so Bradley just popped in. How are you doing?
All right. How are you?
Just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. So what's new in DevoWorm?
Well, we're kind of working on manuscripts right now. We got one where Dick was invited. Dick and I are writing a paper on some of the DevoWorm stuff. We were invited to submit a manuscript. It's a special issue of a journal, but I mean it's due in March, so we're trying to work on it right now. And then more information as that becomes available. And then Tom, Dick, and myself, and Gabriel Pasquale are working on a book chapter on the Morphozoic stuff. So that's actually gotten accepted. It's a book on like agent-based modeling. I think that's the title. So again, we'll know when it comes out what it looks like. But we're working on that. So the plan is to just kind of keep on the editorial, because those deadlines creep up slowly but surely. But I think we're in good shape for both of those. And then Dick's been out of touch until like December 7th. So next Monday he'll be back. So every year he travels from Canada to Florida, and he has an RV. If those of you who haven't seen it, it's he used to work out of it exclusively. Now he has a house in Canada, but he has his setup there, but he doesn't have good Wi-Fi when he's gone, so we don't get to meet. So when he gets back, we're going to discuss some future directions for the project. I was talking to Tom about that a little bit last week. It's just like kind of going further into what we've been exploring so far. So, there might be some merger between Morphozoic and the data analysis and the data that we can get. We might try to get CompuCell 3D off the ground for C. elegans. So.
Excellent. Okay, good. Yeah, and I saw a lot of issues get added recently, yeah, to the Devo.
Well, I've been trying to catch up on the waffle board, so I hadn't had a chance to, so I just,
That's great, yeah. We probably need to do another run of that, I think, through the project as a whole and just kind of revise the milestones and issues and that kind of thing. So I'm glad you're doing that. Kind of a kick, I think, to the rest of us to kind of get back to that picture. I know PyOpenWorm is, we did that with PyOpenWorm here this last Sunday, but with a couple of issues just to update where things are. But I think we could use to go back with the rest too. So, okay. Excellent. Well, guys, we didn't have as many people show up today as usual. I do want to show one extra bonus thing before we close and just make a quick point. Since we are doing more journal clubs lately, I think it's worth seeing that there's some new analytics that come out on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. So as you guys will remember, OpenWorm has a YouTube channel. That's where all these on-air hangouts get streamed to, and so we've had this now since 2012, and 153 videos. Looks like it's on there. So it's actually quite a bit. And this is there's new free analytics from YouTube, which shows you like what's happened recently. And so I was just clicking around, and this is the analytics report from the last 28 days. So it's actually kind of surprising. Like I hadn't really realized this before, but in the last 28 days, there were 6,748 minutes of videos on our channel that were watched, which is actually up 60% due to the 60% due to the previous period. This big spike is relating to the journal club that we did. So we got a lot of watch minutes that happened around that journal club. Our average view duration went up, so up like 75% compared to the previous period. I guess total number of views went down for some reason, not exactly sure why, but we got like 25 more likes and 19 more shares. We got 22 more subscribers, which was up 10%. And then this is kind of neat too. It's like a list of the top 10 videos on the channel that folks are watching. So it looks like the Journal Club in this past month got the bulk of the watch minutes, basically a day and 21 hours worth of watches. 205 people watched the Journal Club, which is, I don't know, I think a lot. I don't know who everybody is who's watching that, but it's pretty cool. Followed by this brief introduction to C. elegans, which is actually, this is quite old. We made this back in 2013, and it's just a 2-minute video that just sort of introduces C. elegans and kind of uses a lot of the visualizations from OpenWorm to do it. And so that's had another 1,500 views just in the last 28 days and 7 extra likes, which is pretty cool. Just that extra 2 minutes. So there's the value to brevity, I guess. And then looks like the last monthly, where we were here a month ago, got the next highest number of views, so 61 views since last time, so you can think what we're doing here will be about that same order of views. And then beyond that, it sort of looks like our next most popular content are some of our other journal clubs that we've done in the past. Looks like this really old status update for some reason got a lot of views, not sure why. Some hackathons that we've done in the past. The Worm Sim video got some good views, looks like, in the past. So anyway, why am I mentioning this here? There's also some geography information, but also as a plug here for this community. So if you think of additional video content that relates to the OpenWorm theme that you want to do, or if you think of a journal club that you want to do, this actually measurably gets looked at and gets viewed. And we have at least 2 more journal clubs that we're going to put through the pipeline after the one that's going to happen next Friday. But if you have additional content, if we want to do another, revisiting, the new DevoWorm stuff, or if there's, open source brain stuff, or, maybe we should do like another view of Geppetto. This is, it's a pretty good channel for actually getting, attention out for stuff, and folks are watching it. So just wanted to let everybody know that that is succeeding, and we could probably even build on it from there. So the fun of open science involving social media. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so just random additional detail. Did anybody have anything else? Any other topics? General topics, discussion? Anybody want to bring up? All right, very good. Well, I'll have to look at when this next meeting is scheduled for us. Let's see. Let me just check that real quick. Okay, yes. So currently the next meeting is scheduled to be on the 30th of December, which I think is going to fall into folks' holidays and maybe not so well attended. The one after that is on the 6th of January. So can I just get a quick sign from folks here? If you, for the next meeting, would you prefer to do it on the 30th of December or on the 6th of January, if you had a choice?
6th of January,
6th, yeah.
6th of January?
or even the second week of January, because it's yeah.
First week back is kind of
Go back
yeah.
at the park.
Andre, what do you think?
Well, maybe 1 week more later.
Okay, so 2 votes for...
Or earlier than 30th.
Okay, yep, and Giovanni?
Yeah, that sounds as well.
Okay. All right, fair enough, yep. So I'll move it, so it'll be either 5 or 6 weeks in from here. So it'll be a little bit of a gap. So in that case, let me just say, everybody, thanks so much for an awesome year. So this will be our last meeting then of 2015, and we'll pick up in the new year. Personally, for me, the break actually ends up being kind of productive period for me when it comes to OpenWorm stuff, because I kind of have a little bit more time. So, you know, obviously, you know, if you guys go on holidays and don't look at any of this stuff until the next meeting, that's fine. But you may see some uptick of activity on some of the GitHub channels and whatnot, and maybe mailing and stuff. So we may interact that way. As always, I'm always available for folks. So let me know if you want to do any other sort of informal stuff. But beyond that, we'll see you guys. Look forward to an exciting 2016. And those of you who are joining Journal Club next Friday, I'll see you that. And yeah, thanks very much, everybody.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.